Hello and welcome to my digital story. This video production will focus on social inclusion in a primary school context of our contemporary society. The primary school setting can be greatly affected by a number of exterior circumstances, and one of the most influential of these is social class. Education has come a long way since the days where teachers ruled the classroom with fearful iron discipline, and rote learning was the main learning and teaching tool. Three important theories now are relevant to social class: a habitus, social and cultural capital, and reproduction versus transformation within a school setting. Here we define social class as the bracket an individual is categorized into depending on their economic, social, or educational status. Social class can directly create disadvantages and exclusion because of its significant influence on how people view each other. Individuals judging each other based on these impersonal and often inflexible qualities can lead to personal discrimination. Social class can mean students are not given a fair chance to achieve and succeed in an educational or social domain, which directly affects their ability to reach their potential and develop as individuals. It affects our ability to belong to a particular group. Bourdieu's theory of habitus explains how disadvantages are created by social class. And according to Keel, habitus is an individual's lifestyle, values, dispositions, behaviors, and expectations which they acquire through their everyday life experiences. People from different cultures or economic brackets may have different values, understandings, prejudices, and priorities depending on their own experiences. This can unfortunately lead to stereotyping, which can also lead to discrimination. This is linked to Bourdieu's idea of social capital, which is described as a resource that is connected with group membership and social networks. Using contacts, family, friends, or associates in high-status sectors can greatly impact upon an individual's potential for success. For example, a parent may use their close relationship or influence with a school teacher or principal to ensure their child is treated in a way that satisfies them personally. Cultural capital, however, refers to materialistic belongings, interests, skills, or tastes that an individual acquires through belonging to a specific social class or culture. It has the ability to create defined social groups, known as cliques. Not belonging to a specific culture, such as a religion, sport, or language, can greatly affect a person's social inclusion. One example of social inclusion and exclusion is one I encountered personally while on professional experience during my first year as a pre-service primary education student. One particular child was a Year 1 student. His name was Kim and was approximately 6 years old, and he had recently moved to Australia from Malaysia. Kim did not speak a word of English in my presence, and the teacher of the class himself informed us of Kim's extraordinarily limited English vocabulary. As you can imagine, Kim's capacity for achievement in nearly every KLA was greatly impacted upon. Kim's parents also spoke little English themselves and lived in the suburb of Port Kembla. His father worked full-time as a masseuse an hour's drive away, and his mother was a house-to-house cleaner. They wanted the best for their son and had the sufficient economic capital, but Kim's acquired habitus meant that he had neither the social nor the cultural capital necessary to feel total inclusion. Kim is too shy to talk to his peers and plays alone at break times. Another child in the same class was 6-year-old Oscar. Oscar was born in Wollongong and English was his first language. He lived with his family in Kirriville. Oscar's father was an English teacher at a local high school, and his mother was a stay-at-home mum who had been a librarian previously. His mother and father had always encouraged him to read books and had taken the time to read with him from a young age. Oscar's parents both would take time out where possible to talk to his teacher, and his mother always visited the class to help with particular reading group activities. His mother and father's emphasis on education was particularly evident in his literacy skills, and his vocabulary was extraordinarily advanced for a child of his age. Oscar was talkative and was well liked by his peers. It is evident that Oscar had the social, cultural, and economic capital to be included soundly in a social and educational context, whereas Kim was greatly lacking in those areas. Because some students from disadvantaged backgrounds do not have access to the social capital to match the middle-class public schools, It is important to ensure that all students are treated fairly and given the same opportunity. So, how to overcome this exclusion? It's up to teachers. It's all about transformation versus reproduction. This refers to the potential habitus of students. They can either be reproductive and believe they cannot change their current social situation, or they can have a transformative habitus, where teachers give all students the educational opportunities regardless of their perceived social standings. Teachers can change this. It's up to them to change the thinking in these disadvantaged students to develop a more inclusive educational system overall. Thanks for listening.